Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is for the movie called The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. From the studio that brought you Beauty and the Beast comes the reimagined tale of the Nutcracker. When Clara's mother leaves her a mysterious gift, she embarks on a journey to four secret realms, where she discovers her greatest strength could change the world. This is a 2019 film. It's rated PG. It runs, an hour and a half. And it stars Keira Knightley, Mackenzie Foy, Eugenio Derbez, Matthew McFadden, Richard Grant, Misty Copeland, and Helen Moran and Morgan Freeman. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Well, I'll start off by saying that this was around Christmas of 2018, 2019, and I don't think anybody saw it in theaters. It was in theaters for a long time. I think they were trying to get some money for this because it cost so much to make. That's my recollection of it. And I obviously wasn't going to buy into it because nobody else was. And even after it was in theaters a couple weeks, I was thinking about it, but still nobody was going to see it. So I didn't want to go, sit in the theater by myself. So I did see it here many months later. And I think it fits what was rumored. I think it's a very simple tale, and whenever movies are redone, they have good parts and they have really obvious flaws. So I think that's what this movie's all about. We'll start with the main character, who's the young girl, Clara, and she is unrefined, playing a refined character. She's supposed to play this daughter of this really prestigious family, huge house, having a big old, party and everything, and, kind of olden times kind of feel. And she goes into this area, and she just isn't that great of an actress. Just things that she gives away in her face. It's very obvious what's coming with her, and she has a lot of wrong emotions on her face. It felt very weird for a PG movie at the end for her to be almost lovey-dovey, puppy eyes towards the Nutcracker character. I did not like that tension at all, and it's just a young actress. It's what she's dealing with. So the older people that are in this movie, Morgan Freeman and such, they're fine, but I just don't know if it's staying very true to the original Nutcracker. So it's kind of a different little tale, and the whole mice thing is really, I don't know if kids are going to want to see that part of the movie. It's that can cause nightmares and stuff with young children. So something to be cautious of. I think the other main characters, the mother, the father, Keira Knightley, and ones that are getting to be really good actresses and actors in this world, they kind of brought this movie to a point where it's respectable and everything. I think Keira Knightley is a good actress. I do think she's done some great things, and for her to be in a movie like this, it shows other people what's possible, how you can bring yourself into a character and surrender yourself to, look foolish or sound foolish. And maybe it's not the biggest role of your life, but you're going to bring professionalism to it. And so everybody, I guess, was, just kind of on that kind of mantra. The great thing about this movie, and I know this is going to be the most obvious thing for me, but I just watched the most obvious movie, so I'm kind of in that zone. This has great, whatever you want to call it, graphics, scenery, landscapes, costumes, makeup. Everything is just tremendous. It's what this movie is banking on. It's why it costs so much, and it really is a sight to behold. It's not Wizard of Oz. It's not Narnia. But it's cool. It's good. is very beautiful. The animals that are in this, the owl, the mice, all that gimmicks and stuff that they pull, the people that guard this kind of supposedly evil ladies area, they're kind of very creative figures, almost like another story. But um, I was very impressed with all that stuff, with all the creativeness, all the beautiful imagination. That part of the movie I think is really good. We're going to leave that there. Okay? Now, the last thing is the big obvious stuff. The obviousness of the story. How they could have done, they could have said something at this point in the movie, but it takes half an hour for them to realize, oh, that thing is this thing. And, when somebody's trying to talk to you in a certain way and it's, obvious what their intentions are, but it takes you another half an hour to figure out what's going on with them. Just the whole movie, has that feel that is very insulting to the intelligence. And kids might not see it that way, but I think a lot of kids above the age of 10 are going to be like, yeah, I knew that was coming. I just think it was one of those movies that's really, really simple. And it's just so obvious what's going on for, I think, anybody above the age of 10. And then this, beginning scene, not at the very beginning, but sort of when she gets into this other world area, they do this whole, production on stage. And it's to explain to Clara what happened with her mother, how she got to this world, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like the elf telling the story of how he gets from the North Pole to New York City. And everybody's seen the elf, right? So I think they took way too much time and too much of a production to tell that story. Like the elf, he kind of says it throughout the movie, through the gumdrop forest and all this other stuff. And then they end up making a book about it. But this one takes 15 minutes to elaborately produce it on stage. I'm like, come on. Just say it in 3 minutes and move on. We don't need all this. So it's just that kind of movie. It had to take a longer time to explain one thing. It had to take half an hour to figure something out. It had to take another half hour to explain something that we all knew what was going on anyways. And so it's fine. I'm not thinking it's the worst movie ever, but it's a very, very, very bad version of Narnia, of Wizard of Oz, of, how many other movies have we had like this where somebody goes into another dimension. So I just think it's going to fall short on pretty much every level of other movies that it's competing with in history. And a lot of people aren't going to remember this one. So I wouldn't waste too much time on it. I'm going to give it a C because I actually thought the beautifulness of it and the acting by the seasoned actors made it bearable and made it nice. And it actually has a nice message at the ending. And I always appreciate that. If the ending would have just completely bombed, I'd been like, yeah, this is awful. It's garbage, blah, blah, blah. But it has a really nice message at the ending. It does have Clara figure something out and come to her senses a little bit. And it's a nice ending. And I like the way that they handle, maybe a stupid character being a little bit having some brains at the end. But it takes some explaining to know how some other people know about this other universe. Usually, in most movies, it keeps it to the kids, Harry Potter and such, that they know only the kids that are in that area know what's going on. Then when they snap back to universe, it's like nothing's going on and everybody's just living in their own earthly, environment. So a C for the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Again, if you need to watch it, go ahead, enjoy it, say you've seen it, but then move on with your life because this really does not measure up with other movies of its kind. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. and enjoy your movies. Thanks.